everyone. This is Dr. Ron, and I'm coming back to you with another episode of Boomer Life Lessons and Stories. I hope this episode does find you and your family doing well. And as I've always said, and it is true, that's what it's all about, taking care of the family and trying to do better today so that you can provide a better place for them to be tomorrow. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, the title of episode 65, and we are slowly approaching that major milestone of 100 episodes. The episode today title is The Day I Met Superman, August 4th, 1984. And if you'd like to hear about the day I met Superman, please stick around. But before we get into the details of that little episode, why don't you do me a favor? If you could, like, share, and subscribe, and that will help me immensely with the YouTube algorithm. Okay, so what is this about meeting Superman? I think everybody thinks that Superman or Superwoman or Wonder Woman are all fictional people, but I'm here to tell you that they're not. Now, I know you're going to say Professor Cross is crazy because he's taking fictional characters and thinking that they are real. But truly, haven't you met people that you've come away with inspired and thinking that they could do anything they set their mind to? And as a matter of fact, they demonstrated that they could do anything that they set their mind to. I've met a number of people in my life like that. And you know what they're called? They're called mentors. And you might be curious as to who my mentors were and are. Well, yeah, I'm 64 years old and I can still have a mentor. People that inspire me are people that do the, quote, impossible. And that makes me want to work just a little bit harder to help that happen as well. Well, who are they? Well, they're the parents and the grandparents, my mother and father and my grandmother and grandfather Summit. They inspired me. They challenged me. They told me that I could achieve great things if I would only work hard at working hard. And, you know, they didn't let me make excuses. They were pretty much supermen and women in my eyes. But, you know, there were others as I grew up and went to school, then on to college. And these were my teachers and professors. My teachers in junior high school and high school, even elementary school. A teacher made me stand up in front of a large crowd and give a speech. That little exercise has served me well my entire adult life. But, you know, there's more out there that are mentors, that are supermen and superwomen. I remember sitting around the television with my grandparents and my mother and father as we watched Neil Armstrong take the first step out onto the moon. You know, and that day I kind of knew before, but at that day I certainly knew I wanted to have a job, a career in the sciences. I didn't know what it was going to be exactly because I went from perhaps being a geologist to an astronaut to maybe a scientist or an engineer. But they inspired me. They inspired me to become more than I was each and every day. But you know, there's one mentor that I really have actually called his name out and said he was a Superman. And on a daily basis, I had the privilege to work with him from 1984 when I started to work for Lockheed. Well, actually, at that time, it was Martin Marietta until I left the company. He was one of my supervisors, managers, and directors. His name was Jerry. And, you know, what inspired me was he took an interest in the people that worked for him and around him. He challenged them each and every day. And he challenged me. He wouldn't accept failure, you know? And it's kind of interesting. Jerry, whatever he set his mind to do, he did it. And if somebody were to tell me one day when I came into work that he actually leaped the tall building, which was the main tower, which was 6 stories, in a single bound, I would have believed him. Or if he had flown off the balcony, I would have believed him because he was that type of person. You just knew he could do anything he set his mind to. And, one of the things that he showed me was barriers are not something that we should maximize. Barriers perhaps are not something we should trivialize either, but barriers are just simply things we have to work through. And you know why that sticks with me so much? You see, when Jerry was a teenager, apparently he had jumped off a bridge into a shallow pool and broke his back. And he was a paraplegic. But I never saw it. I never saw any limitations. All I saw working as a professional engineer and working for Jerry was somebody that could do anything he set his mind to. He might have been in a wheelchair, but that didn't define him. As a matter of fact, he used to laugh and say, when he'd meet new people, he said, okay, yes, I'm in a wheelchair. Look at the wheelchair, but I'm going to tell you, the wheelchair is not what defines me. What we do in our lives is what defines each and every one of us. And you see, he went on to become a director of production at a plant that had over 13,000 people working there. He was very significant in all that he did in terms of contributions. And his organization was always able to achieve. Yes, there were challenges, but he challenged each and every one of us to step up and do the hard thing, not because it was hard, but because it was needed to be done in order for us to achieve the things that we needed to achieve for our department, for our company, and for our customers. And I'm still amazed thinking about him throughout my entire adult life, because you see, I was 27 when I went to work in that organization that he ran. He wasn't my direct manager. He was my boss's boss. And he went on for other promotions shortly thereafter. But he would take the time to talk to each and every one of us. He would call us and he would even ask for our help. And sometimes I think when he would ask for our help, there was something that he was doing. He wanted to challenge us to think outside of ourselves, to take on problems that might have been bigger than us, to show that we are more capable than we think we are. And that became a mantra for the department. It became a mantra for me in my personal life and in my professional life. I began to tell myself, because of Jerry, the superman that was a mentor for me early in my career, I began to say to myself, there is nothing I cannot achieve. All I have to do is work hard at working hard. I am more capable than I think I am. And I've come up against roadblocks and things of that nature, and I would think to myself, how in the world am I going to overcome this? And I would pause and I would think about Jerry and my other mentors and the things that they had shared with me. All those supermen and women in my life that made me a part of who I am today challenged me and gave me the tools and the resources to become more than I was yesterday so that I could achieve greater things tomorrow. And really, that's the message for all of us. Whether you're starting out your career, you just graduated from high school or college and you're going to work for corporate America, you can become more than you think you can become. You can become more than you are today, tomorrow, by following the guidance and the directions of those great men and women in your life, those super men and women in your life, and overcome the barriers and ask the questions and work hard at working hard. And you will see that you too, someday, for somebody else, will become that superman or woman to them. You'll inspire them to achieve greater things for themselves and for their family. And I started out this episode by saying there's nothing more important than our family, and I'm going to end this episode in the same manner. When you become that superman or woman because you can achieve anything that you set your mind to, you will not accept the barriers. You will overcome those barriers. You will not let your conditions in life presently define who you're going to be tomorrow. You'll work hard at working hard and overcome all of that. And as you become those supermen and women that inspire others, then you are paying it forward. And they too, at some point in their careers, those that you've mentored will become the supermen and women of tomorrow. And that's all we can hope for. We think of the best in people, we expect the best in people, and we demand the best in ourselves. And with that, my friends, you take care of yourself. I will see you in the next episode of Boomer Life Lessons and Stories. You're always on my mind. All the best.